Among that which he conveyed, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which one must believe in firmly, is. You're not going to say among that which he conveyed are, so I should say is, the the torment in the grave. Okay, said in. We usually say of. That's fine. By both soul and body. Yes, that torture of the grave is unbearable, although it's not as powerful yet as the torture of hell itself. When I say yet, I mean although one has not yet reached a stage of harsher torture, he is still in a stage of minor torture. The torture of the grave is part of the minor or lesser torture. This lesser torture in the grave is 100% unbearable, such as showing hellfire to the unbelievers twice a day or twice per day. Yani, a window opens for them and shows them where they shall be in hell. Once at the beginning of the day and once at the end of the day. They suffer by looking at it and seeing the place in which they remain in the hereafter. Yeah. Sometimes one is tortured by seeing. Like when he sees Munkar and Nakir, just seeing them, he will be tortured by the mere sight of them. Another example of torture is being disturbed by the darkness and loneliness of the grave. Yes, and also it's mentioned that a person's ill deeds will appear to him in his grave in the form of, basically a monster. When I say monster, though, like something so ugly is what I mean, and stinky too. So, imagine that you are somewhere and there's a monster in there and you can't get away from him. If you could turn your head, you'll find him there. Imagine. If you turn your head to the right side, he's right there. And then you turn your head to the left side, he's right there, for example. A'udhu billah. I'm not saying they turn their heads in their graves, though. Just saying that something is there with them. And the enjoyment therein is amongst what the Prophet talked about, alayhi salatu wassalam. Another example of torture is being, disturbed by the darkness and loneliness of the grave, yes. As well as being eaten by the vermin. And also attacked by snakes. Sometimes, some people, they have reported unusually large snakes in graveyards, in particular.
Sheikh, I've heard scorpions as well. Is that true?
Scorpions for the grave, I don't know.
Okay.
And the enjoyment therein is amongst what the Prophet ﷺ conveyed that we must believe in. So what would be good here is put a colon up here and then make a new line here and you can start listing. As for if you start the sentence here, then it's not going to be a proper sentence. So the way this sentence stands alone, it says, and the enjoyment therein, i.e. the enjoyment in the grave, such as widening the grave 70 cubits by 70 cubits and being illuminated with the light that resembles the light of the full moon. This is a fragment here. There is not a subject and a predicate here. It lacks a verb such as is. And the enjoyment therein, the enjoyment in the grave, like what could fix this is to say something like right here, which is, that fixes the sentence. Then you say, which is such as widening the grave 70 cubits by 70 cubits and being illuminated with a light that resembles the light of the full moon. Yeah. Widening, yani the expansion of the grave. 70 cubits by 70 cubits or more, if Allah will. And also experiencing the smell of paradise. And also the grave being filled with greenery, plants, and other things. These tortures and enjoyments of the grave, what we have mentioned is amongst what we know. there is also enjoyment and torture of the grave that we do not know about. So probably now the upcoming sentences are fragments. The questioning of the two angels, Munkar and Nakir. The believer and the unbeliever of this nation will be asked about the belief they died believing. Okay, so correct sentence starts here. The believer and the unbeliever of this nation will be asked about the belief they died believing. And each will answer according to their situation. Of this nation means this interrogation of this duo is special to the nation of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet, the impubescent child, so okay, I'll assume that's correct, but people usually say prepubescent child, and the battlefield martyr are exempted from the questioning. You might see in some literature the prophets, plural, are exempted from this questioning. If you saw that, then the meaning would be this type of person. Otherwise, this interrogation of the grave does not apply before the nation of Muhammad anyway. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Al-Ba'ath, resurrection, which is the rising of the dead from the graves after they are brought back to life. Yani after their souls reunite with their bodies, some bodies which have decayed and other bodies which have not decayed. If the body decayed, then it will reassemble and then be reunited with its soul. If it did not decay, then it will merely be reunited with its soul. Al-Hashr, assembly or gathering, which is gathering the creations and leading them after resurrection to the land of assembly. So herding them, making them all move together. All the humans and the jinn. It will be very, very crowded on that day. Some explained the ayah, وَالْتَفَّتِ السَّاقُ بِالسَّاقُ, which means, according to this explanation, putting this ayah here, it means when the shins are mixed. Many, many, many shins, so many people. But some explain that ayah in another way. They say it means when the person dies and his shins wrap together, like his legs come together. Yeah. To the land of assembly. What's the land of assembly? First of all, they're going to first come out of their graves. When they come out of their graves, they will come up out of the ground and shake the dirt from their heads, and they will be all naked and barefoot and uncircumcised. And their being uncircumcised is a signal to the restoration of their missing parts. So if a person got his head cut off, that's how he died. How's he going to come back resurrection day? Or like that, he got his hand cut off or lost his finger. Or what if, wal'iyadu billah, he's one of those sick people in our time who's doing sex changes and he mutilated himself for a fetish that he has. On resurrection day, the person's lost parts will be restored. Al-Qiyamah, the day of judgment, which starts when the people rise from their graves and ends when the people of paradise enter paradise and the people of hellfire enter hellfire. I think this is not the word here. Not enter. Yeah, that's not what I learned. Rather, when they settle. Maybe that's what's meant actually here. They enter paradise, meaning it's over now. They have entered. That's probably what they meant here. And they have entered hell. It's over now. And they're settled now in their places. Then the day of judgment is over. That's 50,000 years. The entire process. I missed something. I was about to say something. So, to the land of assembly, they come out of their graves, naked, barefoot, and uncircumcised. Then they will be herded by angels, made to move to a darkness by the bridge. There, in that darkness, yani in that place, they will see the earth transform. So that's amongst the amazing things of Judgment Day. They will see the earth transform. They will see the mountains, for example. Mountains are blowing away like a mirage, or are completely leveled, and the earth will be expanded. Then they will come from that assembly place back to the reformed earth for Judgment Day. And then all the amazing and horrific things of Judgment Day will take place, including the earth testifying against you, the earth itself saying, he stood on me here when he did such and such, for you or against you. He stood on me here when he prayed. He stood on me here when he did such and such sin. Okay. So the author says here, reckoning, hisab, which is the presentation of the slave's deeds to them. Hisab. Hisab has two meanings. It can mean the books of deeds being presented to the slaves, and it can refer to Allah speaking to the slaves, making them hear his uncreated speech, and this means his questioning them. This is also called al-hisab. Wallahu sari'ul hisab. Allah is swift in hisab. Why? Because his speech is not created. It doesn't require time. So he is the one who will ask all of the creations all at once, just in some moment of time. Moment, the word moment, this English word moment, is an ambiguous time. Does not, like a minute is 60 seconds, an hour is 60 minutes. The word moment is ambiguous, doesn't have set time, a set measure, I mean. So if I say he questions them in a moment, doesn't mean like in one mere instant, like the snap of the finger, but means for some brief time. All of them will hear his speech, and all of them will understand being questioned about. Each one will understand being questioned about his own deeds, and they all hear the same speech that doesn't change. That speech has no beginning. Their hearing has a beginning. As for the books of deeds being presented to them, so in the first place, the angels record everything we do. Raqib and Atid. They record everything we do without exception, even what we do in our hearts. Then, of all of our deeds, which there's 5 kinds of deeds, the obligatory ones, the forbidden ones, the recommended rewardable ones that are voluntary good deeds, the disliked ones, and the indifferent ones. Whether you did them or you didn't do them, there's no reward and no punishment. Out of these 5 kinds, only the obligatory deeds, the voluntary good deeds, and the sinful deeds will remain. Everything else will be erased. That means the disliked deeds and the indifferent deeds, they will be erased. So they will be recorded, but then they will be erased because there's no reward or punishment linked to them. to those two kinds. The reward and the punishment are linked to the other three: the obligations, the prohibitions, and the voluntary good deeds. Then the person's book of deeds will be presented to him on resurrection day, given to him. The believer will take his deeds, his book of deeds, in his right hand, in front of him. And the kafir will take his book of deeds in his left hand, behind his back, while his right hand is chained to his neck. Then each one will see his deeds. Reward. So what are we talking about here? We are talking about matters that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam conveyed to us. Things we must believe in that do not have rational evidence. These matters do not have a rational evidence. What does have rational evidence? The monotheism, believing in the oneness of God, yani believing in Allah, confirming His self and His perfect attributes. This has rational evidence. Also, the impeccability of the prophets. This has rational evidence. Not the mere existence of prophets. Not the mere existence of prophets. Yani, if someone were stranded on an island, he grew up on an island alone. Somehow, yeah, he was a baby on an island. Somehow he survived, and he grew up, and he never met anyone or talked to anyone. This one, he can know that there's a God without anyone to tell him. But how would he know that there's prophets? There is no rational evidence for confirming prophets. In their existence, I mean. Confirming their existence in and of itself. Rather, this is something that needs to be conveyed like these things. Prophethood itself is like these things that we are talking about. Enjoyment of the grave, torture of the grave, etc. How do we know about them? By that being conveyed to us. The prophethood, for us to know it, it needs to be conveyed to us, or else we wouldn't know it. But once it is conveyed to us, then from there, the mind will necessitate things. The impeccability of the prophets. They must have certain qualities to be valid. The impeccability in particular. And then, if we confirm that the prophets are truthful, which that's going to be the rational conclusion. The rational conclusion to the confirmation of prophets is that they are truthful in everything that they convey. Then we are going to believe everything that the prophet conveyed, alayhi salatu wassalam. The enjoyment of the grave, the torture of the grave, the questioning of the angels, Munkar and Nakir, the resurrection, the assembly, the day of judgment, the reckoning, and the reward and the punishment. The reward, the thawab, which is the magnificent returns received in the hereafter by the believers for their good deeds. That's nice. Thereby pleasing them. Yes, yani the reward is the compensation for the obedient that pleases him. And the adhab, the punishment or the torture or the torment, is what will afflict the slave on that day. such as entering hellfire and lesser punishments for sins committed. So the punishment is the payment that the slave receives for his bad deeds, and it bothers him. Yeah, bother is a word choice. It is the payment that bothers the slave, uh, the payment for his bad deeds, such as entering hellfire and lesser punishments. Here is a signal to the two levels of torture: the major torture and the lesser torture. The major torture is hellfire, and the lesser torture is everything else. Anything else, including the torture of the grave. The torture of the grave is from the lesser torture, and the torture of the grave is worse than any torture on the dunya while we are still alive. As we are now in our normal lifetime, according to the normal nature of this world, the torture of this world does not reach the level of the torture of the grave. The torture of the grave is part of the lesser torture. And also the torture of Judgment Day is part of the lesser torture, including when the sun draws near the heads of the slaves and they suffer from its heat. It draws as near as your ceiling, for example, as an approximation. As near as your ceiling over your head, the sun comes close. That's very, very, very severe. Even this is part of the lesser torture, such that the kafir will say, Rabbi arihni walau ila nar. My Lord, relieve me from this torture of the sun, even if by putting me in hell. He thinks being put in hell will relieve him from the torture of the sun. It will not relieve him, it will just replace the torture with a greater torture. He will be taken out of the torture of the sun, but it won't be easier. It won't be a relief for him. Then the sun is going to go into the hellfire. The sun, the moon, and the earth. And they will be like stones in there, meaning they will increase the fuel in there. The Prophet ﷺ also informed us about al-mizan, the balance, or the scale. But balance is a good word in reference to the type of scale that has two pans, one against the other, in which the deeds of the people are weighed in the hereafter. Yes. Good deeds against bad deeds. As for the kafir, he won't have good deeds to go into the pan of the good deeds. He will only have bad deeds, and therefore his pan of bad deeds will be preponderant. Yani, it will be heavy. It will go down, and the pan of good deeds will go up. And as for the believer, he has three possible cases. Either his good deeds are heavier than his bad deeds, or his bad deeds are heavier than his good deeds, or they are equal. If his good deeds are heavier than his bad deeds, he will be admitted into the garden without torture. And also, if he has no major sins, he will be admitted into paradise without torture. If his good deeds and his bad deeds are equal, he will not enter the hellfire, but he will not be able to enter the garden with the first ones. And instead, he will be made to stand on the wall. Al-A'raf. I feel like we don't hear about this enough. Al-A'raf. Could be here, amongst all these things here.
It's my first time hearing it as well now.
Yeah. There's the Surah Al-A'raf. This is the wall of, the scholars, some of them said it's a wall that Allah creates between paradise and hell. And some of them said it's the wall of paradise itself. Sheikh Nabil, when we sent a question to him, He answered us that it's the wall of paradise. He sent the answer back that it's the wall of paradise. This wall, those believers will be made to stand there while other believers are entering paradise. They see them. They see them entering paradise. And they say salam to them. They say assalamu alaikum. And they wish they can be in there. Let me pull up Surah Al-A'raf for you here. Let's see. Here. Starting here at Ayah 46. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وبينهما حجاب. And between them, between the people of paradise and hell, there's a barrier. وعلى الأعراف رجال يعرفون كلا بسيماهم. And upon the A'raf, or on or against Al-A'raf, are men, knowing, recognizing everyone by their sign. وَنَادَوْا أَصْحَابَ الْجَنَّةِ أَنْ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ. They call out to the people of the garden, peace be upon you. لَمْ يَدْخُلُوهَا وَهُمْ يَطْمَعُونَ. They did not yet enter the garden, and they are hoping. وَإِذَا صُرِفَتْ أَبْصَارُهُمْ تِلْقَاءَ أَصْحَابِ النَّارِ قَالُوا. And when their visions are turned to the people of the fire, they say, رَبَّنَا لَا تَجْعَلْنَا مَعَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Our Lord, do not put us with the unjust folk. وَنَادَى أَصْحَابُ الْأَعْرَافِ رِجَالًا يَعْرِفُونَهُم بِسِيمَاهُمْ قَالُوا. And the people of the A'raf, they call out to men that they recognize. They recognize them by their sign. They say, مَا أَغْنَى عَنْكُمْ جَمْعُكُمْ وَمَا كُنْتُمْ تَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. They say to them, what you have accumulated has not done anything for you, and your arrogance has not done anything for you. أَهَؤُلَاء. And by the way, they recognize them by their sign. What's their sign? The sign is the blackness of their eyes, those people in hell. And the sign of the other ones, what's their sign? The radiance of their faces. أَهَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ أَقْسَمْتُمْ لَا يَنَالُهُمُ اللَّهُ بِرَحْمَةٍ. They continue to say to them, are those ones the ones who are going into paradise? So they're talking to the people of hell. They say to them, what you have amassed has done nothing for you, and your arrogance has done nothing for you. Are these ones who are entering paradise the ones that you have sworn that God's mercy shall not reach? ادخلوا الجنة لا خوف عليكم ولا أنتم تحزنون. Then those ones will be commanded to enter the garden. Enter paradise with no fear and without grieving. So their time of waiting on the wall, this bothers them because they want to get into paradise. They are seeing the people go in there. For me, it makes me remember being a kid and playing at recess. Then you got to stand on the wall and watch everybody else play. Subhanallah. Yani, when you were bad. وَنَادَى أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ أَصْحَابَ الْجَنَّةِ أَنْ أَفِيضُوا عَلَيْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ أَوْ مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ. And the people of the fire call out to the people of the garden, Pour upon us some water or something that Allah has provided you. They say that out of desperation. They will never get it. Of course, Yani. We know they're not going to ever get it. But do they really think they're going to get it? They say it out of desperation. قالوا إن الله حرمهما على الكافرين. They say, indeed, Allah has forbidden those for the blasphemers. And this is evidence that the people of paradise and the people of hell communicate. I don't know if we mentioned this in one of our lessons. For sure they communicate. They can hear each other. And can they see each other? The people of paradise can see the people of hell. Can the people of hell see the people of paradise? Scholars didn't agree about it. But they can hear them. And when they hear their enjoyment, that's torture itself. So the kuffar have no relief in the afterlife. Everything, every aspect of their existence is a torture for them. There is nothing, yani. They won't see anything nice. They won't hear anything that pleases them. They won't smell anything nice. Nothing. Subhanallah. الذين اتخذوا دينهم لهوا ولعبا. Those who took their religion as a game and as a jest. Their religion, they took their religion as a game. Dinahum, their religion. This means Islam. As if the ayah is saying, the blasphemers who took their religion of Islam as a joke, which means that Islam is their religion, meaning the religion they are supposed to take. The religion that they did not accept, that's their religion, meaning the religion for all the people. Islam, as the Shaykh said, الإسلام هو الدين الذي رضيه الله لعباده وأمرنا باتباعه. Islam is the religion that Allah accepts for His slaves and commanded us to follow. That's how He defined Islam. Etc. to the end of there. How did we get there? We were talking about the balance. And I mentioned for you that if the good deeds and the bad deeds are equal, then, and that would only be for believers since there will be good deeds involved, then they will be made to stand against the wall or upon the wall. Stand on the wall. On, against, I try to say on really. So I don't know, does it mean on top, around, in front of, etc.? I don't know. What's their exact position? How are they? How's this wall? I don't know. They had to stand on the wall. So I'm using on with broad meaning there. Just like if you were in the playground, in the schoolyard, and then you had to stand on the wall. You're not really standing on the wall. You're standing at the wall. So they will be made to stand there and while others enter paradise before them. Seeing the people of paradise and seeing the people of hell. When they see the people of hell, they seek refuge with Allah Ta'ala. And if one's bad deeds outweigh his good deeds, then this believer, if he's a believer and his bad deeds outweigh his good deeds, then if Allah willed, Allah will punish him. And if Allah willed, Allah will forgive him. And if he's a kafir, and this is only going to be his case, the kafir doesn't have any other situation out of these three. But I'm not able to say his bad deeds outweigh his good deeds. He doesn't have any good deeds. Rather, I can say his pan of bad deeds is heavier than his pan of good deeds. He will be tortured for sure. So we must believe in this balance. Whoever denies it is a kafir. All these things, denying resurrection is blasphemy. Denying judgment day is blasphemy. Denying the reward and the punishment is blasphemy. Denying these scales of justice is blasphemy. And hellfire, the Prophet told us about, alayhi salatu wassalam, the abode in which Allah has prepared to torture the unbelievers and some of the Muslim sinners. Yani, hellfire is a place that Allah has prepared to torture sinners. Yani, sinners and blasphemers. It exists now, as proven by verses of the Quran and hadiths of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wassalam. But if someone denies that it exists now, we're not going to call him a kafir. Because the proofs that we use to substantiate that it exists now, those ones that are in the Quran, he has alternative interpretation for them in such a way that we don't call him a kafir. Such as that when Allah says about hellfire, or that it is prepared, they said it means satu'addu, it shall be prepared. Yani, this is something possible in Arabic language. To explain the past tense by the future tense. That's possible. It is truly a perversion, yes, on their part. But they reinterpreted it in a way that's not impossible in the Arabic language, and therefore demands of us to deem them as kuffar. And what about the hadiths about it then? The hadiths about it, they didn't trust the narrators concerning those hadiths. So the people of the prophetic way, Ahlul Sunnah, deem such deniers as deviants, not blasphemers. Those who deny the presence, the current presence, existence of paradise and hell, those who deny this, we deem them as heretics, misguided ones. As for someone who believes that paradise or hell will go out of existence, that's blasphemy. Those don't have the same judgment. Believing that they don't exist yet, one can escape the charge of blasphemy with this foul conviction. But believing that they will go out of existence is inescapable blasphemy. Yeah, not talking about a person who's new to Islam. Inescapable blasphemy with the meaning that it is known in the religion by necessity. Known in the religion by necessity. What's the judgment of denying something known in the religion by necessity? Blasphemy, unless you are a new Muslim or like a new Muslim. What does that look like? That looks like someone says to you, let me use my own self here as an example. Someone says to me, there's not 5 prayers throughout the day and the night. So I'm not going to say to him, are you a new Muslim? I'm going to say to him, that's blasphemy. Say your shahada. So if he says, well, I'm just a new Muslim, no. And I'll say, oh, okay. Don't say that. I'm not going to start there. I'm going to just go by the rule. Denying what is known in the religion by necessity is blasphemy, unless you are such and such, new Muslim or like a new Muslim. The everlastingness of paradise and hell is known by necessity in the religion. So hellfire is the abode in which Allah has prepared to torture the unbelievers and some of the Muslim sinners. It exists now and will remain without an end. Correct. The bridge is extended over hellfire. Yes. Yani from the reformed earth to the land of paradise. Or the landing of paradise, if you want. The land of paradise, or the landing of paradise, meaning to a ground. To a ground upon which is paradise. But doesn't go right to the door of paradise, that bridge. Yeah, it doesn't go right to the door of paradise, to the gate of paradise. So it goes to a land, or a landing, if you want, a ground. Paradise is there, and the basin is there at that ground or land. The sirat, the bridge, is extended over hellfire, which the people will come and cross at a pace of difficulty or ease. Yani, so looks to me like the word to is missing. To which the people will come. The bridge, which is extended over hellfire, to which the people will come and cross at a pace of difficulty or ease, proportional to their deeds. To which the people will come, meaning while they are still on the earth, the reformed earth. So the issue is that Allah Ta'ala, the issue of the earth, is that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala on that day, first, before that, before the resurrection event, what happens to this earth that we are upon now? As you know, it shall shatter. Yani, the angel will blow his horn. When he blows his horn, heavens and earth will quake, tremble, vibrate until they shatter. Very powerful horn blast here. Then it will be in pieces. It will stay like that for 40 years, as it is reported. Then Allah will reform the earth. Yani, will put it back together and resurrect the angel. The angel will blow his horn a second time. Then the people come out of their graves. Then they will be herded, made to move. That's the hashr. That's the hashr. The hashr. They will be made to move. The angels will herd them, those humans and genies. They will be moved to a spot, a darkness by the bridge. There, they will witness the earth itself reform. So then there will be a reformed earth, a transformed earth. There in that spot where they are herded to, that's where they see the mountains blowing away and being leveled, and the earth is reforming. This is one of the events of Judgment Day. These types of things, if you know what they mean, you understand that this is not something you can ordinarily just see. Like, you're not going to just be standing there looking at that like you're watching a golf tournament or something. It's normal. But on Judgment Day, the people won't die again. So they're going to see these things that could make someone faint or even die of shock. They're not going to faint, and they're not going to die. They will see this earth reformed, and then they will be brought back onto the earth, the reformed earth, for Judgment Day. And that bridge will go from the reformed earth to the land of paradise, and it is elevated. Meaning it is, yani, the bridge is diagonal. The bridge itself is diagonal, not horizontal, not vertical. Under it is hell. So they are on that reformed earth, and then, yani, when it's time, after they do all of their judgment, then they will be brought to the bridge. And that's the meaning here. To which the people come. This bridge to which the people come. وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا. This ayah that I just recited for you, this is the evidence for the bridge in the Quran. Doesn't name the bridge though. It means there is not one of you, but that he shall come to hell. He shall come to it. Some people think this means he shall go into hell. No, it means he shall come to hell. What does that mean? It means he shall come to the bridge that goes over hell. Yani, by coming to the bridge, he will be coming towards hell. Then he has to cross the bridge. If he makes it across safely, then he will not be in hell. And they cross at a pace of difficulty or ease proportional to their deeds. So some of them will crawl due to the weakness of their good deeds, and some of them will walk, and some of them will run, and some of them will fly, and some of them will fly over the bridge. And amongst those who are flying, some of them will fly as fast as a bolt of lightning, and some of them will fly as fast as the blink of an eye. As fast as the blink of an eye. What that means, so if you just blink, that means basically they're going to be on one side of the bridge, and then they're going to be on the other side of the bridge. That's how fast the blink of an eye is. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. When we say fly, it means their feet are not touching the bridge. Over the bridge in the air. Those ones are certainly winners. Subhanallah. لِسَعْيِهَا رَاضِيَةٌ. They are going to appreciate the good deeds that they did. That's the case of the believer in the afterlife when he gets his rewards. He will remember what he did that got him that, and he will appreciate what he did. And the kuffar, all of them fall off of this bridge from the beginning. The believers, some of them fall off at some point on the bridge. And there are hooks that snag the people who are passing by and scrape at them. This bridge is a very dangerous stage of Judgment Day. It's wide and it's smooth, slippery. I was teaching one person, a sister. She said, when she learned about this, she said when she was kafirah, she saw a dream about Judgment Day, and she saw a bridge that's like made of glass, as if it's glass. That's what she said. She saw in her dream. I never heard that before from any sheikh or anything, but that's what she said. It's wide and it's slippery, but that's slippery, Yani, that's its own nature that is slippery, but the good believer will be able to step upon it without slipping. Very amazing. One end of that bridge is on the changed earth, and the other end is after hellfire towards paradise, Yani at the land of paradise. And then what's going to happen in the afterlife, after Judgment Day is done, after the judgment is done, paradise, the earth itself will be cast into hell, and the sun and the moon. So I didn't hear anything happens to this bridge. As if it just stays there. Intaha. It's over now. If a person's a kafir, he's never going to come out of hell. There's nothing. There's no way for him. How he's going to get out of there? Subhanallah. But I didn't hear what happens after that. What happens to that bridge? Just stays there? I didn't hear. No longer attached to anything because the earth has been cast into hell. No longer attached to anything from one side because the earth has been cast into hell. Allahu A'lam. Al-Hawd, the basin, which is a place that Allah has prepared a drink for the inhabitants of paradise. from which they drink after crossing the bridge and before entering paradise. Yeah, this basin, and there's more than one. Each prophet has a basin or lake of varying sizes, and Prophet Muhammad's basin is the biggest. Basically, is an ocean. It takes a month. It's a month across and a month wide. These basins are on this land, what I'm calling the land of paradise. So once they get on the other side of the bridge, they will be there. Now you're safe. Khalas. Now you just need to get inside of paradise. But you're not going to get inside of paradise before you drink from this basin. It is a place that Allah has prepared a drink for the inhabitants of paradise, from which they drink after crossing the bridge and before entering paradise, after which they do not feel any thirst. The intercession, ash-shafa'ah, which is seeking good from someone for another. Intercession is seeking good from someone for another. The intercessors in the hereafter ask Allah to absolve some of the Muslim sinners from punishment. The intercession is exclusive to Muslims. Yes, yani, there is, first of all, two kinds of intercession: the major intercession and the minor intercession. The major intercession is Prophet Muhammad's intercession, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, when the people come to him because of the sun being over their heads. You know, first they go to Adam, who sends them to Noah, who sends them to Moses, who sends them to Abraham, who sends them to Moses, who sends them to Jesus, who sends them to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who then intercedes. And because of his intercession, a big body of believers will be spared from the torture. Believers here means even from other nations. This intercession of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it covers believers from other nations too. This is one of the proofs that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the greatest of all the prophets. His intercession shall cover believers from other nations. The minor intercession is any other intercession, and the intercessors are the saints, the scholars, the practicing scholars, angels, martyrs, children who died before puberty, and anyone else whom Allah gave permission to intercede. The intercession is exclusive to Muslims. Yes, no kafir will receive intercession, and also the intercession is only performed with permission, will not be done without permission. Yani, imagine a person on Judgment Day, the most horrible of days. Everyone is humbled. Who's going to be the one to step forward and say, "Oh Allah, I ask you to forgive Fulan"? Not without permission. It's not going to happen. Let's stop here, inshallah ta'ala.